Good morning. This is America's Teacher Casey Noland for July 2nd, 2019. I'm rushing, really rushing, but rushing as much as one like me can rush in order to try and finish at least paragraph 1 and 2 of the Declaration. I'm hoping to get into what I call the he hases by July 4th, just because I thought it was fitting. Anyway, so here we go with part 6. So we're working our way through, we're crawling, walking, I like to say, through paragraph 2 because, like I've said several times, these are some of the greatest words in history, and I always like to add besides Scripture. Okay, here we go. Let's jump in again. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. Okay, we're going to rewrite it in our own words, and remember, we can't use a word to define a word, as Professor Anton said, because otherwise we're not really defining it. So, prudence, wisdom. Indeed, wisdom will dictate. Wisdom would require that authorities, there's that word again, long established, authorities throughout history or that have been in place for a long time should not be changed for light and transient causes. We shouldn't go around changing authorities or governments for superficial reasons or fleeting or flighting reasons, which when you look at that in light of some of the representatives we currently have, I'll let that one explain itself. So, for very trivial reasons, we should not change the government, and accordingly all experience has shown, and also history has taught us that mankind are more disposed to suffer. We have a tendency as humans we're more apt to put up with these inconveniences while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing. We're more inclined to put up with a crappy government is basically what they're saying, than to right themselves by abolishing, than to fix it. We're more likely to just put up with it. History has taught us that people will put up with bad governments rather than fix them, abolish them, get rid of them. But when a long train of abuses, when we got a history of this government abusing these principles, right, of life, liberty, and property, long history of over and over again taking us for granted. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations being that they keep usurping authority, means that they keep taking, presuming, invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism. That when there's a long history of over and over taking us for granted and abusing our rights and freedoms, and that it starts turning into despotism, so it starts turning into a dictatorship, It is the right, here's where I blew it on tape 5. I said duty. Here it comes. It is their right, it is their duty to overthrow it. So if you get a government that keeps violating life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, what the founders are saying here is, it's not just your right or your responsibility, it's your duty. In other words, it's your privilege, it's your responsibility to overthrow it. Throw it off, they say, and to provide new guard for the future security. And to set it up in such a way that new guards, set it up in such a way that there's new protections, a new set of protections to keep our freedoms safe. Wow. One more paragraph to go and then we get into the he has's. This has been part 6 of the Declaration of Independence with America's teacher, Casey Noland. It's my privilege to be trying to walk through this with you. Go to my Facebook channel, Casey Noland, or go to my website, mcaseynoland.com, and leave your comments, suggestions, replies, whatever. Yeah, and your advertising dollars. Okay, take care. Great talking with you. Hope you're enjoying these tapes. Have a great 4th